So, hello and welcome to our YouTube channel at Smartmove2UK, Ganesh, and it's such a pleasure meeting you. We had endless conversation in past, and it's good to have you in our channel, and I thank you really for the time that you're spending in for having this conversation with our viewers. So I would leave the introduction to you if you would want to introduce yourself and your company in terms of the work that you do.
Okay, so we are basically primarily diamond jewelry, gold and diamond jewelry manufacturer and wholesaler. You are in the business of that, primarily into the day-to-day like rings, earrings, pendants, and dedicated almost all the independent stores, like freestanding stores or the independent single stores, two stores kind of a business. So, our business is spread across the United Kingdom, across England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, everywhere. So, we primarily operate out of Birmingham, and where we have an office, and from there we ship to all the places where we need to deliver the goods, and we have people like salespeople on the road who go meet these customers and get the business and the orders from them. That's primarily the business.
Yeah, brilliant. So Ganesh, when you thought about, because I recall our conversation, you were already present in India, you already have a very good positioning in US as well. So what was the thought process to pick up UK as a geography for your kind of a business?
Oh, UK is a very, very stable market. It's a market where when people buy the jewelry, they tend to keep it for the lifetime. It's a different market compared to the United States, where people buy jewelry more out of fashion. They use it for some time, then they might go and exchange it, and then they might buy something else and keep moving. But UK, the market is when they buy a ring or an engagement ring or a band or anything, they tend to keep it for life, and they are very much they're very much connected to the jewelry line. So it's a beautiful market. Once if you and it's a market where the customer, once you build a customer, to build a customer is very difficult, but once you build a customer, you can continue doing business with that customer. They're very loyal to you as the vendors, and you can continue to do the business and grow the business with them over a long period of time. So in that manner, once you are in, to get in is very difficult, but once you're in and you have got the confidence of the customer, then very long-term, it's a no-brainer kind of a business.
Right.
Of the market, and across the across the country, the product is kind of very easier to market and sell and whatever you want to do.
Right.
Almost the same.
Yeah. So like in every business, and this is a very strategic decision, therefore you have taken to be positioning yourself in UK as well and establish your presence, even if you did have a presence in other countries. I think having an office or having a presence in that geography does make a difference. Would you agree that there are various ways to have a presence, but having an office and having your team up over there would be very essential?
Yes, primary, very, very essential, because like I told you, to in UK to get it is very tough, and to build the trust with the customer is even more tougher. So it takes a long time to build the trust and get in. And once, that's why it's very, very important that if you're doing business out there, you need to have an office out there, because they need to be in touch with somebody on a daily basis at their time zone, that somebody picks up the phone, talks to them continuously, and that gives them an immense, that builds up the immense, it's a trust building factor, having an office out there. If you don't have an office out there, and if you're in a different time zone, they are not very keen to do business with you. They are more keen to do business with people in their own country. It's that kind of a culture. So having an office out there is very, very, very important. And if you don't have any, and you don't pick up calls at the time zone and this, then it's very difficult to do business in that country.
Yes, absolutely, Ganesh. And I completely agree that some businesses require that trust, especially your kind of an industry. It's more about precious metals. It's more about high stakes been involved in the process, and and the various ways that you could do this, whether it's wholesale, online, or even if it's a retail one. The warmth of having around in the same geography is so very important up over here. So having said that there's one decision which was a business decision to be in the UK, and the other part is the technicality on how would you be there, what kind of strategies or pathways that would be available for your team members to be up over there. And I think that's where we had this initial discussion to understand what's the vision of the company, what's the plan in place on how do you want to do this. Is it going to be a teeny mini office where there's just one or two persons, or do you have a plan to grow up? And I think that's where we had advised that you apply for a sponsorship license, since you would have a team of people been going there. How did you find this particular pathway to kind of explore and get yourself into the UK?
Oh, this one of the best options that we got from you, and it gave us a very, very good clarity, and there is no disturbance. If you the sponsorship license, you get a visa, you are there for like 3 years, and there is no lottery system in that. Like, if you want something like this to happen in the United States, then there is a H1 visa, which is based on a lottery, or you have to do an L2 visa, with a lot of other things, financials. So this sponsorship license method is absolutely a fantastic option that is available. It and as an organization, it made our life. It took just probably a couple of months for the entire process to happen, and got settled in. I would only say that it's absolutely it's a brilliant option that you and Hemang gave us, and we'll always be indebted towards you for that. Whatever this option that we got and we started, and we've been this now for probably 8-9 years, I think, since the time first, I think, Gaten started, and probably 2014-15, I think, maybe 9-10 years.
It's been togetherness with you in your journey of success in the UK, I would say. So how would you tell our viewers about this process? I mean, there's a lot of myths around, what this process would be, and how different it is from the other categories of visas, because as an organization, you have people entering the UK under different categories, including the sponsor license route. So how was your personal experience in this journey? Did you find the process very cumbersome? Did you find it very complex, or to go through it?
Very honestly, your company's team was continuously involved in guiding the person for which we are having the visa. They were continuously in touch and guiding them what is needed, what documentation is needed, and there was I would say a kind of a personal touch that was there during the entire process till the visa we got. There was even with this verbal or there was an immense amount of clarity as to what needs to be done, what is the cost associated with it, and how to go about the whole thing. So, we never felt, see, when you do, and whatever this is like a sponsorship license is also kind of like a semi-immigration process. So it's a long-term visa where a person is going to be there for a longer period of time without leaving the country. So, there is documentation, and as an organization and as a person who's going through the process, there are so many questions that come into the mind. So, when we got in touch with your company, so during the course, we might have 1,000 questions, and on a conference call or on an email, mostly through the phone and the email, we could get things solved. Option 1, option 2, if you do like this, what happens? If you do like this, what happens? Which is the right way to go about? So everything was, was very, very, very open and clear. There was no ambiguity at the time that, whether I'm doing something wrong. And your team was also excellent in getting all the documentation from us. Okay? So, the main thing as an organization, we don't know what kind of documentation is needed in a different country to pass whatever license they give us, right? So the most important thing is, one of the things is the documentation. So sometimes you don't know, some people don't know what, you only give 4 documents, whereas you're needed to submit 10, and your visa might get rejected. So in our interaction with your company, the most important, the best thing was the clarity on all the kind of documentation that is needed. Okay, so you need to do this, you need to give this documentation to make sure this happens, then this is the next stage. So that was very beautifully done from your side, which, in hindsight was the biggest help that we got from you. And we had no, once we then finally submitted the visa, we kind of felt it that whatever the best would be been done, everything has been given, right? There is no question left that we did not answer anything or we not submitted anything. Everything was very, very clear. So that's what we liked about the whole process.
Brilliant.
Your team was also the people who were communicating with us to get the things from us were also excellent. Good team.
Thank you very much. So, Ganesh, what would you advise for the viewers who are still at a stage where perhaps once you were at that crossroads where you are exploring on whom should we reach out to, who would be our right navigators, or who would rightly advise us for this? I'm sure you also were trying to choose on who could be the best representative in your case. And I'm sure there would be certain parameters that you would have, or certain things that would have sort of brought in the confidence that you would want to work with us. If you would want to share, what were those things when you were looking at for help or assistance to set up? And it's a very important decision. You have to get this right from the company's perspective. You have to ensure that it's a favorable outcome and it is working as planned. So it's very important to choose the right partners who can lead you to there. So what were those things that you had in mind, and what made you choose Smartmove2UK?
First of all, when we came from 7 or 8, 9 years back, when we met you and when we met Hema, okay, and when we spoke about that, because in our jewelry business is because we are dealing with very high value items. So we always, how much ever from in a different country, you can hire people from a different country, but you can never have the trust in that person. Keep $500,000 worth of goods in the office, $100,000 worth of goods, 200,000 big chunk of value of the goods in the office. So our need is always somebody who is very, very trustworthy, even if he's in a different country.
Right.
And that technically doesn't come with a person who is of that country. Maybe, we could hire somebody in the UK, but we want to have that full trust in that person. So it's always a need that somebody who is trustworthy goes there. And sometimes, most of the people in the jewelry industry, the challenge of somebody who's very trustworthy is not very highly qualified or educated.
Right.
You understand? So to get somebody who's not very highly qualified or very highly educated, but very highly trustworthy, and explain to the other governmental agencies that we need this person is the most difficult part in a long-term visa kind of a process, because the first thing that they ask is what is your education qualification, what have you done, how is your English, 10, 20 other questions, which are very important for them to make sure that that person is, good enough to be coming into that country. So this is where when me and Saket came there first, and when we spoke to you, when we spoke to Hemang, that the kind of clarity that we got from them, that okay, it's not that if there is one option, if this doesn't work, we can try number two. If that doesn't work, we can try number three.
Right.
He gave us those three. Hemang gave us like 1, 2, 3 options, 3 different ways to go about. Okay, and he said that we can discuss and finalize based on what your situation is. He was hand in hand with us based on your situation, the kind of person that you want to put forward. We decide which, at the end of the day, which will be the best option to go ahead. So obviously that when you talk to somebody and especially in this immigration thing, and they tell you that there is only one way or one option and there is nothing else that can be done, was the most deciding factor. When we went there and said, okay, 1, 2, 3 options. Okay, maybe we have a couple of attempts. If this doesn't work, we can do this way. If that doesn't work, we can do this way. However, and then get thing, we'll do something that the person gets it. Basically, that kind of feeling that you get, that if you go with this company, they won't leave you stranded midway. They will take you to the end. Yes, there is a part which is of the other government, which is not in their hands. What the other government agency will do and how they will do something. Like once upon a time that Hemang said, we even asked him this question. So this is we spend like, I don't remember, for Ekta, I think we spent like 12,000 pounds or something. It was a high expense. So we asked the question, so what at the end of the day if it gets rejected? So we got an answer from them. Yes, you can appeal. That is, if your visa gets rejected, there is also a process of appealing, and where you can explain certain things and again keep and try to get it. So that's a very soothing thing for us. It's not that you're like taking what do you call like in a casino, taking a call, and then if it doesn't work, it works. So there's another process to it. So all these things made us very comfortable, and to go company to initiate the procedure. We, before you all, I think we also met 1 or 2 other guys. They were not very clear about the whole process. Okay, when I think you were mostly in the UK at that point of time, and Hemang also told us that she's there, I'm here, and we both as a team will take care of your issues if this to be, So that gave us that comfort that yes, let's go through it and start the process.
Right. So now that you have the sponsorship license and you're able to get talent, and it doesn't just restrict you from a particular geography, it could be a talent from all over. Has that added value to your business? Has that kind of, given that push that it requires?
It's added a big value to our business. Like I told you, having somebody out there who can provide the service to them at every day at that point of time was the most important thing. So once you have a team out there and they are providing the service to the customers in UK, it makes a big difference, because they only want to deal with companies which are in their country. They don't want to technically deal with companies which are abroad. And also our business is with dealing with 1 store, 2 store, 3 store kind of guys, not big chain stores. We don't deal with a long list of chain stores. So these guys require a lot of service. They will call for small things. They don't have. It's only the owners who are dealing with the store. Mostly the owners managing the entire store. So they require a lot of service. They require a lot of company. If they find somebody they can talk to, that's the most important thing for them to do business with somebody. If they can't talk to somebody, they are not good at emails or mobile communication and written communication. No, they always want to talk because they have less time. The whole thing is, I want to focus my time on doing my sale in the store. So I don't want to sit down and on a computer or on a mobile or a laptop or iPad or anything and type and do things. My time with somebody whom I'm dealing with and buying something should be on the phone as much as possible. So if they get somebody, they are the most happiest to do business with you and take the business forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, even in your work, it's a bit of a post-sale services as well that they're expecting that you need to be there. And again, for that, you do need a team in place. You do need people in place. I'm sure these decisions were not easy. I'm sure this pathway to choose to kind of walk through, to kind of have that trust that Smartmove2UK will be able to deliver, to have that faith in us that, we will be able to drive you there. So thank you very much for that trust in us that we will be able to execute and help the company. Now that the company is there, it also gives us immense pleasure and pride that, we've been instrumental in making this happen. Has this kind of impacted the business in a positive way, to say you have presence now also in the UK? I mean, in other geographies besides UK, does it kind of bring an impact to say that you have presence in the UK?
Of course, yes. As an organization, we are, one of our aim is to do business in different countries. So our global organization does business in America, Canada, Mexico, UK, Australia, Hong Kong, in all these places. We have like 6-7 major areas where those countries that we are doing business with. And UK is is one country that we've still not been able to get somebody entered into the other countries, because the process in those countries are much difficult, much easier, and then we've still not found somebody also who can really guide us through those in those countries. That like people like you who can tell us do this, and you will get through. Okay, because every country's process is different. It's not easy. So here with you all, we had immense clarity as to what needs to be done and what can happen and what cannot happen. Very, very clear. This can happen, this cannot happen. This is the way to go forward. Option 1, option 2, option 3.
Right.
It was very clear. That kind of things we don't have with people whom we want to get somebody a visa in some other country, because because as I told you, in our business, if I don't have a trustworthy person out there, it's very difficult to set up an office. I can without 1 or 2 of our people who are trustworthy, I cannot recruit a single person from that same country. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
So this UK thing is it's been very, very very good. In fact, ITA, even with an Indian passport, she can get across because of her UK visa. She can get she acts easily a Canadian visa or an Australian visa or an American visa very easily without a struggle, because she's got a residence permit out there. You understand?
That's right. Yeah.
Then an Indian goes through to get visas in different countries. It's a pain. So waiting time, X, Y, Z. It's a horrible thing to getting a visa out here. Is like a normal tourist visa or a business visa is a pain. But it makes her life so easy that she can travel wherever she wants to. Getting a visa is like fast and quick.
Right.
And every credit goes to that. At the end of the day, the residence permit.
The residence permit that she holds, absolutely. Isn't it that the mobility that they require, because you do have other offices and it does require times that she has to be there for different meetings or training. The easement that it is bringing now that she's permitted to travel easily, and the fact that she has a residence permit gives her that upper edge when she's applying for these country visas. Ganesh, when you were speaking about that it is so important, and currently you are also aspiring to open up in different geographies, but you're not finding those right partners who could advise you on how do you kind of have your setup or the pathway for immigration, and that's where you think the Smartmove2UK had an advantage and were being able to bring a clarity in terms of what could this pathway be. But it leads me to a question. How did you find Smartmove2UK? Were you being referred? Did you find us online, or how did you find us?
It was, the first Ketan, who applied. He applied for us first. He found you all through some. He found you, some reference, and somebody told him that you are a lawyer in UK and you have an office out here in Bombay, and she's very good. Through his one of his contacts. So maybe one of his contacts got the visa done through you before 2014.
Okay.
So that guy referred him, and then he told us, and then we came and met you, and that's how the whole thing started.
That's how the relationship started, and it's been here. So Ganesh, sometimes people think that if they have to move to UK and apply for sponsor license, a solicitor based in UK would be more preferable, rather than somebody within the geography to help them. I mean, we thought the other way around. So my reason, I'm a qualified solicitor from the UK. I've lived and worked in the UK. I know the laws of over there. And our thought process was just like yours, that the client needs the warmth, the client needs to see us in the same geography, in the same time zone, as opposed to we being there, because there's quite a lot of difference in time zone. So how would you see that? Would you, like a company as an organization, would have thought that if it's for a UK visas, there had to be a company within UK that should have helped you? And a company in India may not be able to do this process. Was there any kind of those thoughts in your mind?
So I'll tell you one thing. Visa is in the whole of India. The visa is a kind of a taboo subject out here. When somebody goes to get a visa, they have a lot of questions in their mind as to what needs to be done to get a visa. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
So, and many people get rejected, and they don't know for what reason they got rejected. Okay? Like the most, I think from India, the maximum people apply is for an American visa. With American visa, a lot of people go do an interview, come back, some get it, many get rejected, and they have no idea why they got it. Or either ways, they don't know. it's kind of a, when we came to you, along with those things, the best thing that we liked about you is that you had the clarity. Even if you go to you go to a solicitor in the UK, okay, he is not going to tell you the way that people react is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, get this thing for me. Okay. So if you want 6 things, okay, so now I have 5 things, I don't have 1 thing. What do I do? They don't have an answer for that 1 thing. Okay, if you don't have the 1 thing, I can't help you. You get 5, you might get it, you might not get it, it's up to you. When we met you, if I tell you, okay, you want 6 things, I have 5, what was 1 thing? Okay, if you don't have this, maybe do you have this? Do you have this? 2 questions asked. Yes, I have this. Okay, maybe this thing can work instead of this. Okay, and then we'll combine the 6 things and you can go ahead. Everybody doesn't have anything that sometimes you need to have somebody wants this thing. You need you'll get only a visa if your company is valid for 5 years, right? Somebody will say, oh, I can't wait for 5 years to get somebody a visa. I've just started a company, I need a visa. What do I do? Right? So there is always some little bit permutation. Everybody doesn't have everything.
Right.
So with you all, we found that immense amount of clarity, because we were also like a company having a presence in 3-4 different countries, having offices in those countries, having a company registered in those countries. So it all that way helps. So we got a lot of options and to get things done. So that's your understanding of the law is probably 10 times more better understands this law.
Thank you very much. I really want you to repeat this one.
Understanding of the law is much better than the way they understand their own law, their interpretation. They're probably they don't, because law is always something which is not very straight. It needs to, for one line there could be a couple of interpretations to that line, and you need to interpret, and that's where the skill of the lawyer comes in. If somebody just reads by the book and tells you this is what is written in the book, that's so that everyone can understand that. To interpret it the way you all interpret it was beautiful, and that's where we enjoy working with you.
I think that's where we pride it as a USP as well, because we understand Indian businesses, we understand the nuances on how the Indian businesses work, and we also understand the UK law, and we try to see on where there can be an alignment where it can comply with what the government or the immigration policies are looking to when they are calling up the companies. But this, as you rightly said, from different countries, there are different businesses. In UK, there's so many type of entities as well that exist, and it may not be as you see on the guidance notes. There could be alternate documents. We could still make an application, a valid application, and still help to go through with. What are your last words, Ganesh, for anybody who's looking to set up their businesses in UK and in terms of the processes that we have to go through with?
I would recommend your company to get any kind of a visa done, because the way you understand things properly, might be very, very few people in the world who will understand things to what is needed to be done. My first impression of your company when I came there, and I saw this on your entry, you put the photograph. This guy got the visa. This girl got the visa. That whole process was, and when we met you and Hemang and all, it was you made us feel so comfortable that we did not want to think about somebody else to approach also after that. So I would highly recommend your organization to process visa. In fact, we have been very honestly, we have been behind Hemang to help us set up get a person settled in Australia. That's also another job. So he's also working on it. Told him a couple of times to settle this. COVID happened, situations, things changed. For a couple of years it was not working. Then the business slowed down for a year. Then we were not pushing him. So maybe the coming year we need somebody in Australia. So that's another area where you all can work and make the things happen. So we need to. It's time now for us to have a couple of people in Australia as well. Start the business started 5-6 years back, and somehow we have been trying to grow the business without having the station there 24 hours. But now we have come to a stage that without company station there of 24 hours, the business cannot move ahead further. So now it's needed. Whatever the benefit, what the advantage and disadvantage of COVID is over.
Sure. And thank you so very much, Ganesh, for spending this time and being in this conversation. I think it's going to be very, very helpful. There are so many important takeaways from your sharings here, and I really, really appreciate you taking this time off. I know you are a very senior person and very, very busy, but it's been a pleasure to meet you once again, and thank you for all the insights that you've shared with our viewers today. I really appreciate that. Thank you.